I know you said Tesla will outperform Bitcoin. Is there a scenario where there is a supply crunch and Tesla or Bitcoin outperforms Tesla? Of course there is, a million times over. First of all, when I first said this, 4th of July, 2024, all right, I said Tesla's going to smoke Bitcoin, okay, out to 2032. But I did say the caveat that if there is a crazy supply crunch and nation states start buying Bitcoin like mad, printing money, buying Bitcoin, of course, the game is over. Bitcoin wins. But since that video on the 4th of July, 2024, Tesla's gone up 2.45x and Bitcoin's only gone up 71%. So far, I've been bang on right. It would completely outperform, and it has done more than double the performance of Bitcoin since 4th of July, 2024. Now, how could Bitcoin smoke Tesla? Well, these are the scenarios, and I've got tons of scenarios, but these are kind of the big ones that I think could happen and could help us smoke. And that's why I hold both Bitcoin and Tesla, because they're both going to do well. How well, how seasonal, that all remains to be seen. We know there'll be big differences in seasonality, but these are some scenarios that I see. Okay. And I've got like 15 of them, but these are just short ones. First of all, I do expect a pre-halving bull run. Okay. Everything is front running everything all the time. So I believe before March 2027, the next halving, I think there could be a big run and a mini supply crunch on Bitcoin, which would take us to $500,000. Okay. These are big ifs. Also, we'd have the first initial nation state buy, like a Bitcoin strategic Bitcoin reserve for the US or something else. Then, if there is a halving crunch and 5 to 10 nation states adopt Bitcoin, boom, that's it. We go straight to 1.2 million. I've done the math backwards. If nation states start buying Bitcoin, we're going to 7 digits. That's why you hold on to Bitcoin, okay? That's when Tesla gets smoked. And is it possible? Yes. Is it guaranteed to happen? No. Is there a 20, 30% chance it could happen? The answer is, yeah, of course. Not 50%, 20, 30%. And then by 2030, the dominoes will fall. We have 5 to 10 nations in 2028. Then another 20 will follow and FOMO into Bitcoin and drive the market cap to above 50 trillion. Price of Bitcoin be $2.5 million a coin by 2030. And once that happens, these 20 nations pivot to a global reserve shift. Forget China here. That doesn't matter. China's all in on gold. Gold is not going to make it, at least as a reserve, I believe. It's very hard to verify, etc. But if we do get this global reserve shift and we get the 20 nation states, Tesla goes to $12,739 in my Sandbag model. Bitcoin goes to $4 million. So big dose of hopium there, my friends. Could this happen? Yes. If it does, these are the prices that are probably going to pan out. So get ready, everybody. That's why it's so important to have one whole Bitcoin, because one Bitcoin could easily become 1.2 million to $4 million. In fact, Tom Lee said 3 million, probably by 2030 as well. And that's in line with global reserve shift, $4 million, or between the 2030 target and the 4 million target. Either way, it's scarce and hard. And final caveat, Bitcoin could go to zero. If the Knots core guys screw everything up, yeah, Bitcoin goes to zero. Always be prepared for that. Always have your diversification out there.